Hello there again. Here's another episode of D1 Yapper right here. Just want to share some stuff I've thought about on my car rides to work. I don't know what I could call this, the Brandon's Commute or something. I guess that's what I'll call it. I'll call it Brandon's Commute. But here's basically episode 2. I've said it before on this channel. I don't want to make this too much of an organized thing. I just kind of want to have fun with it. I'm using a GoPro Hero 3 Plus. They're on like the GoPro, let's see, probably like the 14 or 15 or something. I'm probably completely wrong, but yeah, I was thinking about it, how fast our life just kind of is. And I realized I'm 24 now, and so I'm right in the generation of people who are addicted to technology, addicted to our phones, specifically social media, I'd say more so than anything else. I think a lot of us grew out of phone games, but we replaced phone games with just checking social media, looking at memes, videos, Instagram Reels, and a lot of us are like, oh, I don't have TikTok, that's for kids, but then we'll go on Instagram and watch the equivalent. And I was just thinking about it because right now I'm going the speed limit, 65. I'm in the right lane. I try not to speed, specifically because I have one of those insurance things on your cars that lets you save money. So I try not to speed. I'm going 65 and a 65, and every single person on those roads is just passing me up. And I'm just like, man, y'all are all that just to get there maybe a minute faster. You're risking so much. I'm not saying they're gonna die because they're going X amount over, but like, if a cop sees you and pulls you over, now you're losing even more time because that's not gonna be less than a minute. And it's just you gotta spend money now. So I don't see the point of it, but I think people are just bored. They're bored in the car. They don't want to be in the car for very long, and so they try to get there faster, or they'll just be sitting there staring at their phone or whatever. And it brings me to what I really wanted to talk about. There's a couple things. They all kind of pertain to social media and technology. This guy next to me has a sticker of Mickey on his car, dressed as a Crip, flicking me off. That's interesting. But anyways, though, I was thinking about technology because I have a friend who is really friends with this other person that I'm also friends with. So friend 1 and friend 2 are pretty good friends. And friend 2 recently told friend 1, like, hey, I'm worried about it's right in the middle of final season. They're still in college, and so it's kind of like they told friend 1, hey, I'm in the middle of final season and I'm stressed, so please don't contact me unless I contact you first. Which is interesting because I think for my generation, we're 24, we're a little bit older. I don't technically mean generations as like Gen Z or millennial or Gen Alpha or whatever. I mean specifically, we're addicted to not only our phones but being connected to people, while the younger kids, a few years younger than us, are addicted to their phones but not the being connected constantly part. And I just think that's interesting because friend 1 is he's definitely addicted to the being, the constant connection to other people, while friend 2 is addicted to the comfort of entertainment in your pocket, right? I think that's very interesting that there's a difference there. YouTube, games, whatever. Friend 2 is a very creative person. I wouldn't be surprised if they're on their phone just, creating something. I don't know. But anyways, what this is really about is like really the perils of social media, I think. And I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to really preach to you, but just simply give my opinion during this episode of Brandon's Commute. And so I was this happened a few months ago. I was kind of sitting there like, man, social media it's just, I feel like we all deep down know that like, hey, I'm addicted to this, it's not good for me and whatnot. A lot of us can see our friends having short attention spans and we're like, man, this is crazy. We're basically all iPad kids, And I know every single person watching this, you know what an iPad kid is, and you hate the idea of iPad kids, but that's what we are. And so I was, I don't remember what really started it, but I had like these days where I'd be at work and it'd be hard for me to put my phone down, I'll be honest. And I decided to kind of limit what I was doing. And so I started leaving my phone in my office whenever I'll need to go to my boss's office and kind of ask him a question or just like have a meeting or whatnot. It's about a minute long walk. A minute, maybe add 20 seconds to that. But while I was walking, I found myself constantly checking my pockets for my phone. That's crazy. For a minute long walk is crazy as a 24-year-old man. And I was just like, dang, this is not good. And so there was a couple other things that kind of added to it. So it was that kind of realization to myself and that self-reflection, because I'm in my office. Typically, in my my day in a life video the other day of work, we had a basketball game in the morning and then I did office work. But typically what happens is I'll get in around 9 and I'll do office work for about 3 hours, then I'll go to lunch. And then when I get back, the student workers will be there around 1 p.m. and that is when we get started on other work, or our events are usually later in the evening. And so I was talking to my friends about it, and I'm like, man, like we're all addicted to social media, blah, 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 blah. And one of them, he told me, he's like, yeah, I've been driving. He was driving to his new home, which is a few hours away, and he said he's been driving for 2.5 hours. He was scrolling Instagram the entire time. I'm like, man, like he was getting married in less than 2 weeks. I'm like, dude, you're risking a lot right there to be entertained because we're addicted to it. I mean, like it's not like he's just lazy with his entertainment. He's addicted to it just like the rest of us. And so he was like, well, I guess you're right. And he has since deleted some social media. I mean, it's a start, right? I have deleted all social media off my phone. I will occasionally check it on my computer, but that's what the intended purpose was once upon a time, right? It wasn't to have it on your phone and constantly be connected, but it was hey, I'm home right now, not being connected to other people, but I can be connected through Facebook and at the time MySpace, and stuff like that. It wasn't like a scrollable application in your phone. And so in that talk with my friends, the third one, he also was moving. He was moving to a different state, and he had all of his stuff in his U-Haul. And he's like, yeah, I watched movies the entire time we were driving. I'm like, Jesus, like we're risking dying before marriage. I know that's extreme, but if you're getting married in a few weeks, you're risking your life right there. Once again, people are just going so fast passing me for what? One of them's he's like right behind me tailgating me, and I'm in the right lane. Like I'm in the slow lane, dude. But anyway, the other one had all of his belongings in that U-Haul, and he's risking losing everything, and I'm just like, wow, it really opened my eyes to seeing, like, I didn't have it as bad as other people, but there are people who I could get there, it could evolve into something even worse where I'm on the phone, while I'm driving, and I always was like, well, I won't do that because that's so dangerous. I caught myself picking up my phone to read something every once in a while, though, like read a text. That's not good. And I was just like, I feel like I like quietly justified it to myself by being like, oh, I'm not as bad as everyone else. But that's the problem. You can always think that because there always will be something worse or someone who has it worse. But you're just using that to justify it as it gets worse and worse and worse. And so I ended up, the last straw for me, I was on my lunch break at work watching YouTube, and came across this video where a dude used his iPod for 30 days. He was like, oh, I used the iPod for 30 days and it saved my connection with music. Personally, I do prefer having streaming services for music. I like that. But he had a good point of like, we're beginning to not own anything in this day and age, right? Everything's a subscription. Shows, music, a lot of stuff. I mean, I watched a video the other day where a mattress topper had a subscription to use it or whatever. It's like, what? Like, that's just crazy. But he talks about, he's like 35, he's bald, completely bald. He said his son asked him for an iPad. He was like, son, no, I'm not getting you an iPad. And he said to the camera, I hate the idea of iPad kids. And I was like, amen, brother, we all do. We all hate the idea of iPad kids. I know y'all do. I said that earlier. And he brought up, though, as soon as he told his son, no, son, we don't need iPad kids. We do not like iPad kids. He picked up his phone and started scrolling through social media. Where do we think these kids are learning this stuff from? Do we think the iPad is the problem at this point? Or is it us? Are we teaching the kids that it's okay to be addicted to your technology? That's just, it's wild to think about, because I feel like we all were like, oh, it's the iPad that's the problem. But really, these kids are watching us on our social media. You know, they look up to us, and they're like, oh, yeah, I want to do that. It looks fun. You know, mom and dad are always staring at their phone. They're not paying attention to me. I want to do that too. And so, right then and there, I realized, because he made the change too. He deleted social media. He actually took it a step further. He was carrying around a disposable camera, a literal iPod. He didn't even have his phone with him. He was using a typewriter. Like, bro that's the dream, right? But I'm not committed enough. Or maybe I just don't need that extreme of a solution. I don't know. But either way, that was the last straw for me. I was like, man, this guy is right. He's 35, addicted to social media. That's cringe. I'm just gonna straight up say it. That's cringe. Like, at what point are we gonna grow past it? At what point are we going to mature enough to where we're not on social media? Because, like, I'm 24. I don't want to be 25 addicted to social media. That's insane. Like, obviously, I talked about it earlier in this yapping session, but I have friends who are younger, and it's like, oh, they're just young, they're addicted to their phone, blah 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 blah. I was addicted to my phone too. I'm 24. I'm getting old. I'm getting old, man. And so that was kind of my talk. Is I'll wrap it up. You know, I think that at the very least, again, I'm not here to preach at you. I'm not here to judge you. I'm sure a lot of people aren't, you know, most people will never watch this video, but if you did, what I give to you is just try something. You know, maybe take it off your phone. If you have an iPad, you know, what's the word? What's the term? Whatever. If you have an iPad, don't think of yourself as an iPad kid if you pick it up and you check Facebook on it every once in a while. You know, keep it off your phone. Let yourself focus more. Use the focus mode if you have an iPhone. I'm sure there's some sort of alternative for Android as well. But take care of yourself. Let yourself have an attention span. You know, and that's the biggest problem. A lot of people probably won't watch this video because they can't take it. You know, they'll be like, oh, it's boring, whatever. Which, fair enough. But don't let it be because you cannot handle it. Let me be boring, not yourself. That's all for today's episode of Brandon's Commute. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, I had to delete YouTube after too because I was watching YouTube Shorts, and so it's hard. But I believe in y'all. You can do it. You can do it. Adios.